Since the beginning of time, we as human beings have sought longevity in hopes of living a longer, healthier life. We have tried many methods while searching. But why? What makes the body age? And why do some people look better as they age? Like Father Time has been kinder. This was the question. The quest, if you will, one man decided to make his life's journey. Throughout our history, many men and women alike have been criticized for thinking differently. And because of their beliefs and dedication, today we enjoy the fruits of their labor and persecution. In his journey, he asked, much like the amazing trailblazers before him, different questions, beginning with, what if? What if aging were being accelerated artificially by factors we could control? What if we were, by design, to actually live longer, healthier lives? What if we could trigger our body clocks to actually turn the hands of time back? Today we will address these and other questions when it comes to age and its natural and not so natural aging process.
Welcome, I'm Jeff Harrison, your host, and today we have a man through his beliefs, backed by indisputable scientific research, study, and yes, criticism and persecution, will allow you to see the future when it comes to aging much, much differently. Welcome, Dr. Chein.
Good to see you.
Dr. Chein, you see aging differently. Can you explain how you see the aging of the human body and how it is different from really what our views might not have ever known or understood?
Well, very few people consider aging as a disease, and actually it is, because the aging process leads to death, and that's what a disease is. A disease leads a person to death. And many doctors don't treat aging as a disease. And this is how I am different, and many of the physicians who start to practice what I practice view aging very differently. We treat it aggressively. We slow down the disease process.
Well, forever, Dr. Chein, we as human species have looked at, age as an outside-in process and have attacked the problem through, methods like exercise, cosmetic surgery, plastic surgery, diet, nutrition. While these are all sound processes, how do you look at aging?
Well, I look at aging as a process that, yes, true, it's continuous. We continue to age every minute, every second. But I consider it's a process that can be changed, can be slowed, can be reversed, and also can be medically managed so that the process can be extended, which is an extension of lifespan or life expectancy. And so while these therapies about diet, nutrition, exercise, they are valid, but they have not been able to extend human life expectancy of lifespan.
Now, you did something, you call it the 1,000-man study.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that, because that, if that's almost like the third wheel on a trike.
Yes.
Isn't it?
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, the 1,000-man study was done with supplementing their hormones. Okay. One of the process of slowing down the aging process is to supplement the hormones. What are hormones? Hormones are emails. They are the faxes and letters that go in between organs in our body. Now, to understand the aging process, okay, you got an oxidation, that oxygen bombs going off every second. Then you have the oxidation repair process, the antioxidants that we take and the nutrients to repair, okay? And then, okay, so this process goes on every second, every day. And as a result, the DNA, the telomere, the telomere portion of the DNA gets shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. Ultimately, we die. Because the telomere is a portion of the DNA that make us replicate. Okay, so our cells will die and a new one is born. For example, the 15 million cells that Dr. Kaplan talked about, if it's a liver cell, that liver cell will die and a new one will be born. As the new one gets born, the telomere gets shorter because it gets copied from the mama. And so it gets shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter. Okay, and eventually we, at a predetermined time, we die. Okay, now there's a process in our body that lengthens it.
So let me ask you a question. So what you're basically saying, okay, we have cells that are regenerating all the time.
Yes.
But to call them new cells may be a little misunderstanding because it's only a copy of what the very latest cell was. So
Absolutely.
if that telomere is shorter, then the next one is going to start out brand new, but it's going to be shorter. Is that correct?
Exactly.
You know what? You've done a great job and created an actual video. I'd like to cut to that and let's refer to that video and then let's come back and talk about it a little bit more.
Here we have 4 of the hormones in the human body: testosterone, estrogen, the thyroid hormone T3, growth hormone. Early in life, the body has many of these hormone molecules floating around and attaching to cell surfaces. This activates a special structure in the cell called telomerase. When the cell divides and replicates, telomerase lengthens the telomere of the newly created chromosomes, which is the protective end portion of a DNA chromosome. As one ages, the number of these hormone molecules decreases and fewer attach to cell surfaces. As a result, the telomerase is activated less often, so the telomere begins to get shortened. When the telomere is gone, the cell dies. While the telomere is long, the parent cell is youthful and healthy. It also replicates as a young and healthy daughter cell. With a shortened telomere, the deprecated parent cell will produce a deprecated, unhealthy daughter cell. The skin cells on the faces of both an 80-year-old and a 10-year-old are born and shed every 90 days. So why is the 80-year-old's skin wrinkled and weathered while the 10-year-old's skin is smooth and youthful? Because of the relative lengths of the cell's telomere.
As you've seen the video, okay, it talks about how the hormones in our body control the length of the telomere. So while the telomere is being shortened as we make new cells, the body has a telomerase, as an enzyme, continuously, like an engineer, lengthen that telomere so that it can continue to replicate. Well, how does that little engineer called telomerase know you're 20 now, that it should replicate, make it longer, or it's 60 now, it should make it not so long and let you die, or 90. Where do they get the message from? How can a prisoner, shall we say, locked up in a cell for the life term, know the age of the prison? There's got to be a tipper. There's got to be help from outside, okay? And the help is the hormones. The number of hormones or the level of hormones, various hormones, tipped off the telomerase as to your age. So when you have optimum levels of hormones, then the telomerase will lengthen it to a 20-year-old telomere length. When your hormones are down and you ignored it, you don't replace it, well, then it's got the message, oh, our boss is old now, so let's have the telomere shorter. And that is why when you look at a 10-year-old baby and a 90-year-old man, the skin cells on their face, are both of them actually are 3 months old. In other words, the skin cells on our face are generated brand new as a baby cell and then shed like a snake 3 months later, and new ones are being regenerated.
So every 90 days I have a new face?
Shed. Exactly.
Okay.
Actually, every 90 days you have face. Now, why is a 90-year-old look so old, and how come the 10-year-old, also 90 days old, looks so young? the telomere. So an old looking mama cell, skin cell, gives birth to a old, wrinkled looking new daughter cell. Whereas a 10-year-old has a long telomere, so it's a young looking mama skin cell giving birth to a young looking daughter cell who's going to die in 90 days anyway.
Yeah.
Same.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is why. So in my 1,000 men study, this was what we are trying to prove, was to see if there are side effects. If we supplement our subjects hormone levels, all of them, all kinds, not just human growth hormone. But the project was triggered by human growth hormone, was Dr. Rutman's study. He triggered that, but we expanded to all the hormones. Now let me talk about our study first, which is the 1,000 human subject study with all the hormones supplemented to the 20-year level. We want to see if there are side effects, because the argument was that, well, you did something that against God. God didn't design men that way. So anything, if you do against God's natural course, will have side effects. So you could send people to death by replacing their hormone to 20-year levels. We want to know that. So we did a 4-year study with Medical College of Wisconsin with Dr. Cass Terry, and everybody, not only there's no side effect, we knocked out Dr. Rutman's study side effects. We even knocked those side effects out. And everybody got younger biologically, okay, by function. In those days, we didn't have the DNA test yet. Now today, we have DNA. We can measure your DNA just like the police does, okay? You can measure it after death and say, oh, this guy was so old, okay? Police do that. Now, in those days, we didn't have the DNA test. We only had functional age, biological age determination. That is how fast you run, how much is your muscle, how's your pulmonary function, how good is your visual reaction time, how good is your auditory reaction time, how fast you move your fingers. All of those functions show up to a maximum of 20 years younger.
Wow.
In those 4 years of those 1,000 people, and without side effects, no cancer. You know, I would have been sued now. I've never been sued for cancer, which is what the AMA says all the time. You know, you'll get cancer. No.
So the difference is to attain ideal age reversion interior health, Dr. Chein, is it to find optimum internal hormonal balance then, using this bioidentical? And again, explain a little bit more about what that bioidentical means.
Bioidentical meaning the hormone, whoever gives you, or whatever hormone is, thyroid, pituitary, adrenal, sex hormones, must be identical to the ones God made or nature created in you. It has to be identical chemically in structure, physically in properties, and biologically in function. It has to be 100% identical. And if it's 1% different, 1%, for example, Eli Lilly in 1970s synthesized growth hormone, and it of 191, growth hormone has 191 amino acids. Eli Lilly was one hormone off, it's 190, and it caused side effects. That just to show you, you know, let alone when estrogen was totally modified, you know, and progesterone was totally modified. When you take that, the ladies got breast cancer, uterine cancer, though they eliminated the menopausal symptoms. So from that, we learned, oh my God, you know, you can eliminate menopausal symptoms, but you can cause more heart attack, earlier stroke, earlier cholesterol problems, and die earlier, and cancer, breast cancer and uterus cancer. So from that, and those studies were done in Europe and in America, in thousands and thousands of women's studies, proven that hormone replacement causes cancer. What they didn't say is there's a difference between bioidentical hormone and non-bioidentical. And when they say hormone replacement causes cancer, they are referring to non-bioidentical hormone replacement.
How do we measure this whole thing about getting younger? I mean, I feel better after a good night's sleep, but where is the proof that I'm in balance and younger inside, biologically?
Yeah, the proof existed if you took tests to determine whatever process you have taken, the before and the after. And there are two tests today available to us. One is age scan, which is a machine that many doctors have in their offices. It determines your function and compared to 1,000 Americans of the same age and same sex, and then determine where you belong. So your birth date is fixed, can't change that, but your function, your biological age belongs above or below, better or worse. That's by function. And then the next test you should compare is the DNA, the length of the telomere. That's a blood test. So we can do a blood test, send it out to measure the biological age, meaning the lab will tell you how long your telomere is, and of 1,000 Americans, do you belong to the 30-year-old or do you belong to the 90-year-old? Once you've got those two tests, then you participate in this program of whatever you want to do, including diet, exercise, but check again. That's my advice to you. Check again. Did it change it? If it's not changing it, give it up. Try something else. And what I'm saying is my program does, and my book, Living to 120 and Beyond, show scientific evidence of my DNA getting younger, not only my biological age, and all my patients have those results. Earlier we talked about 1,000 patients having functions 20 years younger. So that I already proven. The questions, did they change their DNA? Well, in this book, I show patients together with me got younger in their DNA, length, longer, healthier. So that's the key.
So take us through the process. When a new patient comes to you, how do they begin?
Every new patient will be met by our staff and then brought to begin the process of doing the tests that are unique to our practice. These tests are used to determine the cardiac function, the biological age, and the vital signs of the patient. So now we will see the actual performance of these tests by the patient. Each of these tests tell us something different and significant about the patient. The balance test, with one's eyes closed and having the patient hold her balance for 5 seconds, demands the brain to keep one's balance without the visual aid. So if the patient cannot maintain the balance without the input of vision, it is a sign of premature aging of the brain. To test the heart, typically an EKG is done, but we use a cardiodynamic machine. The main difference is that an EKG will tell us what has already happened, but the cardiodynamic machine will tell us what will or can happen, such as a heart attack. Through our program, we can change the results of the cardiodynamic test so that nothing will happen. Next, it is important to determine the muscle and body fat composition using the in-body composition analysis machine. This machine tells us body mass index, the BMI, which gives us the percentage of the muscle and fat in our bodies. For example, a person can actually gain weight and not gain fat. The next test is a series of tests to determine the biological age of the new patient by the patient's functions. The functions of the individual taking the tests are compared to 1,000 Americans of the same age and gender. These results will then tell us their biological age. We also test the eye-hand coordination. We also test the patient's hearing and the reaction time to the stimulus. The patient's pulmonary function is also assessed. The visual reaction time and memory are also tested. Once we have completed all the tests, the doctor will sit down with the patient to go over the relationship between the blood test results and the function tests. Each patient will then have 3 options when it comes to the way they want to move forward after getting the test results.
If I came into you and let's say, hey, I feel healthy, but I go through this process and I say, hey, chronologically I'm 50, but my physical age says I'm 80.
Mm-hmm.
My hormone level says I'm 80.
Mm-hmm.
Does that open me up to the susceptibility of diseases and illnesses
Absolutely.
of an 80-year-old person?
Exactly, that's what it means. Exactly what it means. Don't look at your birth date. That's deceiving. It can be deceiving. Your biological age is what you need to focus on. And I'm saying those exercise gurus, those nutritional gurus, including Dr. Wolford, the low calorie, they fail to look at biological age at that time. If they looked at it, they would have been alarmed and took steps to correct that. You see, they didn't look at the biological age. And that's why it's important, because when you are 50 and you have a biological age of 80, you are getting all the age-related diseases of an 80-year-old.
Okay.
Yes.
So now, take me through this. I'm that patient, and I say, I want to do something about this.
Right.
Tell me how, because you know what? I've been working out. I thought I was eating properly. Tell me what I'm missing and what can you offer to help me?
Okay, I have 3 levels
Okay.
to offer my patients. Option A is providing them with supplements their body needs, like multiple vitamins and minerals, multiple amino acids, essential fatty acids, vitamin D, DHEA hormone, and the brain hormone pregnenolone. These supplements are available OTC, which means over the counter, and don't need prescriptions. We compound all these supplements in-house to ensure quality and composition. The DHEA hormone is an adrenal hormone that is OTC, over the counter. It helps many important biological functions of the body. The pregnenolone hormone is a brain hormone, also is available OTC or over the counter, and it helps the brain and the nerves to regenerate new cells. These supplements, when taken daily, will replace what we are no longer absorbing through our food or not taking in through our diet. In option B, we begin to see the introduction of the bioidentical hormones that the patients may be lacking or lowering due to age. These hormones, by prescription only, can help the cells to have a longer telomere. For example, the facial cells of a 10-year-old and a 90-year-old have the same lifespan of 90 days. The baby cells of the 90-year-old make the skin look wrinkled, whereas the baby cells of the 10-year-old make the skin look smooth and youthful. In summary, option B allows us to slow down the aging process and delays the appearance of age-related diseases. Option C is composed of options A and B, but we have added in the growth hormone. This is a bioidentical hormone, but it has to be injected twice a day. With this addition, we can reverse our biological age. This is what our 1,000 men study proved. So each option has a different price, allowing virtually anyone to begin doing as much as they can beyond exercise and nutrition to maintain their health, slow down the aging process, and reverse their actual biological age. Our study agrees with many other studies done in the world that we can reverse biological age by as much as 20 years. A patient at option A receives a monthly supply, we discussed, every 30 days. The price is only $150 per month. The patient at option B receives additional hormones that require a prescription, and the price is $300 a month. For those of you who want to maximize the benefits of our total program, just as I have done consistently over the last 20 years to achieve age reversal and optimum health span, the price is $700 per month. All these 3 programs will auto ship your supplements to you. A patient may move from one level to the next level at any time.
How does someone get started, Dr. Chein? Because it sounds like the first thing they do is, hey, they need to get that test, the blood test. Tell us how, the people watching, how would they get started?
Very simple, by calling my office and say, I am possibly entertaining your program. I know the first thing I need to get is a blood test of all my hormones. Could you send me a prescription to my lab in Alaska? I live in Anchorage. Okay? I don't want to even talk to you until the blood test is done. Maybe I'm perfect. I'm 60 years old. Maybe my hormones like 20. I don't need Dr. Chein. Okay? So my Liz or Corey in my office will send a prescription to this gentleman in Alaska or Anchorage, and you'll take that prescription to any LabCorp. LabCorp is a huge, in every city just about, okay? They go to LabCorp, present it, and he has a choice. Hey, bill me. I'm an oil man. Okay, we'll bill you $2,800. Or they say, hey, Liz, here's my credit card. I want to pay $555, your contract rate. Then he walked in with a number, with a coupon, and then walk into LabCorp in Alaska. They'll draw the blood, not ask any money. It's already prepaid. The same test results will go to him, will go to me.
So you know, because things have changed so much, on the page you're watching right now, there's actually a button below
Yes.
that says, please send me the prescription.
Yes.
And when they click that button, Dr. Chein, that will be filled out, and then that will be sent to Corey or Liz in your office,
Yes.
and then they can take care of it from there.
Correct.
I mean, I'm not sure you can make it any simpler. Just click the button, fill that information in. How much do I have to pay you to get that prescription?
Nothing.
So
That's
nothing.
Zero.
Wow.
You are not out even one dime by getting this prescription to do the blood test. Other doctors, you got to pay a consultation first. You got to pay some money to get me. Hey, I'm licensed. I take some money to be licensed. You know, I got to make a living. No, I freely give out that prescription. If you ask for it, you have to ask for it. You know, and ask for it, I give it prescription.
Dr. Chein, I want to thank you so much for really, if you will, kind of clearing it up and kind of pulling the veil back about this whole hormone thing. And, you know, what's the best way to do it? Is it nutrition? Is it exercise? You've cleared that up today, and I can't thank you enough. And I want to encourage those people watching now to go ahead and click the button below.
Yes.
Doesn't cost you anything. Get that prescription.
Get it
And
done.
then you can make a decision on, hey, what's the next step? And you come see Dr. Chein physically here in Palm Springs.
Yes.
Tell us your office. Tell us your office number and where you're located.
760-327-8939. And we're open from 8 to 5 every weekday. No Saturday and Sunday. And it's 2825 Copwitz Canyon Way, Building A, Palm Springs, California, 92262.
Dr. Chein, thank you for joining us today.
Okay.
And thank you for joining us. Take action now. Click that button below and get your blood test today.
Yes.
Thank you for joining us.